what's your take on sort of the role of cities in helping you to become sort of the Bosch of the 21st century? Like, the is that cooperation, do you think, um, really important, or do you think that it's going to be sort of an afterthought? And if you've been selling, and I know you've sold into a few cities, but what's the reception in the sort of the government space to the work that you all are doing?
It used to be that we thought about the role of cities in mobility as like a distraction, like a nuisance, basically, We have these product ideas that we want to launch, and now they come and maybe have questions about it and want to regulate it and so on and want us to go slower. But that's a kind of narrow view because cities, it's a political question how much mandate cities have. And in many geographies, many developed countries especially, that goes pretty far in terms of some basic infrastructure topics, in terms of housing, energy, mobility. And the tendency is not in most geographies that cities will provide less mobility, less public infrastructure, less public transportation in the future, but maybe actually more. So in Germany, the Conservative Party, basically CDU, is talking about maybe let's experiment with like free public transport. So it's not just the Green Party, it's basically a mainstream idea to maybe also push the climate agenda more through a kind of publicly enabled transportation options. And when you think about that, public transportation is going to become more digital. And what we had as emerging new digital products, be it ride hailing or asset sharing, car sharing, scooter sharing, those are like public transportation products in the end of the day. So we're going to have the big old bus that goes around every 10 minutes and in an analog way, maybe become a more flexible vehicle that gets maybe routed more dynamically, but then you are already close to like a pooled ride sharing. Or when you look at who's running the big bike sharing systems in Germany today, it's not OFO and Mobike, it's Stadtrat basically, currently run by Deutsche Bahn in most cases because they won that tender, but it's the cities who determined how that should look like. It should be station-based across the whole city, not just in the most lucrative neighborhoods, for example. And then they tender it out. Who wants to operate this for us? And I think there's a role for us to play because I think that cities, while they want to see certain things and maybe in some cases run certain things, are likely not going to maybe build all the technology behind it themselves. It wouldn't make sense for each city to kind of build their own technology in this. They're going to basically find a supplier for that and tender it out. And we are going to basically then, for example, partner with somebody who does operations to go into this tender and say, we're going to provide some hardware components and the software, and another partner is going to do the day-to-day operations on the ground.